Welcome back to part number 2 of What If Padme Died Falling in Attack of the Clones. Thank you for your support on part 1. If you are not aware of the first part or are not subscribed, please do those first before watching this video. Mace Windu covered his eyes from the blinding light emitted by the dreadnought in front of him, and one of the clone troopers identified the attack to be from an ion pulse cannon. The Jedi Master realised that such a weapon would have a time-consuming launch sequence, and ordered the ARC-170 squadron to be deployed for a rescue. The aggressive starfighters dodged and weaved through the enemy fire, countering separatist starfighters with their own laser cannons, as Windu's fleet crept towards the frozen crew of Obi-Wan. Firstly drawing in Obi-Wan's interceptor, the other clones are soon recovered, just before the dreadnought can fire off another deadly pulse. But only Obi-Wan was able to absorb the energy from the initial attack, using the Force to survive. This time, the Jedi opt for another approach, and Windu and Obi-Wan take one of the larger freighters, completing several orbits over the opposition to confuse them. By the time they fire their secondary cannons, the Jedi had taken the opportunity to dock on the top level, and they cut a path into the core of the destroyer. Windu goes to find Dooku or Grievous, whilst Obi-Wan went to free Anakin, finding the Jedi Knight after stealthily navigating past the patrolling battle droids. Returning his lightsaber to Anakin, his Padawan is oddly quiet, and the dark side was clouding him. Obi-Wan watched cautiously as Anakin followed him out and into their freighter, and joined by Mace Windu, who had defeated the droid general at the bridge of the ship before placing detonators to destroy it. Windu also looks at Anakin in a curious manner, aware that something was amiss, and he would have to discuss this with the Council. Despite their suspicions, the Jedi safely land back on Coruscant, where the Jedi Council convene for a report of the mission, whilst Anakin is escorted to the Halls of Healing. The Council members all turn to Obi-Wan, and he reveals the disturbance he had felt in Anakin, which was far beyond his obvious attachment to the former Senator of Naboo, Padme Amidala. Yoda instructs Obi-Wan to continue his close observation of Anakin, and together they depart for the Senate building, where a new Senator of Naboo is being voted in. Even more curiously, Anakin had already left the Healers and was standing in a Senate pod with Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, and together they put forward a compelling case for Representative Binks replacing Padme, as he was already the Associate Planetary Representative, and the Senate is murmuring with approval. The Jedi are worried that the Gungan would be manipulated, just as he had been in his decision to grant Palpatine emergency powers, but he was a reliable ally. After Jar Jar had been made a senator, Obi-Wan is quick to grab Anakin and asks him why he had been seated beside Palpatine. The Jedi shrugs off Obi-Wan's questioning glance, merely stating that he had been invited as a guest, and he believed that Padme's replacement had to be a worthy successor. The Jedi Master left Anakin to continue his discussion with Palpatine in his office, and he goes to the Halls of Healing to talk to the healers about the results of analysing Anakin. But as he arrived, he was shaken to his soul, as the healers and temple guards were hovering in midair, and Obi-Wan alerted the other Jedi. The Nautoland Master Kit Fisto is the first to reach him, and together they deactivate the trance that had been put over them. As they woke up, they revealed that Anakin had been quivering and resistant to their scanning of his brain, and they now insisted they should be taken to the planet of Kamino and examined in a similar manner to the clone army. Yoda walked to the Senate office building and bowed to the Chancellor before requesting that they wanted Anakin back at the temple, and he lets him go. But as they close the doors, Palpatine senses that the Jedi had been growing wary of his secret weapon and ordered Dooku to prepare himself for an attack on Kamino. The apprentice assured his master that their secret would not be revealed, and instructed Grievous and Ventress to cooperate for a joint attack on the imminent Republic fleet before entering into his own ship. Back at the Jedi Temple, Anakin could not hide his frustration of being taken away from his fascinating conversation with the Chancellor, but entered Yoda's quarters. Anakin told the Grand Master about the pain he had felt from the death of his mother and the death of Padme, and Yoda helpfully told him to release these emotions into the Force, before instructing him to join Republic forces on a journey to Kamino and examine the progress of the training clone cadets. Obi-Wan tailed his Padawan, hidden in a disguised-like freighter, when he saw the navigational computer was loaded with the presence of a separatist fleet. That is it for part 2 of What If Padme Died Falling out of the gunship in Attack of the Clones. If you'd like to see a part 3 soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel for more what ifs, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.